Good evening. Welcome to our September Town Board meeting, and this is the meeting every year that we celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. It's a very special meeting because we have the opportunity, tonight especially, to honor 5 individuals of Hispanic heritage who have improved the quality of life of their fellow neighbors and of those living in the communities around them. I would like to begin by having J.R. lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Oh, you walking out? No? If you would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. It's our fault. Our first honoree this evening is Geraldo Vega, and I would like to ask Councilman John Cochran, who nominated Mr. Vega, to the podium to present the first award.
Thanks, Supervisor. Geraldo, come on, join me. In addition to serving as Second Lieutenant Engine Company 4 with the Brentwood Fire Department, he oversees the training of the volunteers and serves as a source of calm leadership in times of crisis. Geraldo Vega has devoted over a decade of advocacy to the life-saving virtues of becoming an organ donor. Geraldo's advocacy serves as a tribute to his son Anthony, who tragically passed in 2009 at the age of 11. During the difficult time, he and his family chose to donate his son's organs to pass a gift to life to children in need. In the years following, Geraldo has remained committed to the cause, partnering with Telemundo and Channel 7 as a Gift of Life ambassador, educating all in the virtues of organ and tissue donation. His advocacy has saved many lives of many, and a beautiful tribute and legacy to his son, Anthony Vega. Please join me in recognizing Second Lieutenant Vega. Would you like to say something? Can you say something?
Can you step over and we'll get a photo? Councilman Cochran tried to put him on the spot. Thank you so much. Our next honoree is Alexandra Lopez, and I'd like to ask Councilwoman Mary Kate Mullen to make that presentation.
Alexandra Lopez is a first-generation graduate of high school, college, and graduate school, as well as a veteran of the United States Army. After obtaining his law degree, Alex shifted gears and became a professor of occupational therapy, focusing his attention advocating for the traditionally underrepresented people in the community. In 2007, in collaboration with Youth Enrichment Services, Alex developed the PAR 4 program, providing life skills to our community's youth through golf. Ever dedicated to the service of others, Alex also provides pro bono occupational therapy and assists local nonprofits modifying programs to better serve patients. In 2013, Alex also founded Inclusive Sports and Fitness Incorporated to provide children with disabilities specialized in professional training and a chance to recapture childhood through the joys of mainstream sports and recreational activities. Today, he continues to dedicate 20 to 30 hours a week to volunteerism and the betterment of our community. Please join me in recognizing Alexander Lopez. Yeah. And just a personal note, he has done so much in our community, in where I live, Bayport, Sayville, that whole area. My daughter Sarah actually participated in the summer program, mentoring some of the children at Bayport High School, and it was just an incredible experience. So Alex, thank you so much.
Thank you. Our next honoree is a name familiar to so many of us here in the town of Islip, and that's Belinda Alvarez Groneman. And I'd like to ask Councilman Jim O'Connor to please come make that special presentation. Jim?
Former Suffolk County Police Detective and current Congressional Aide and Law Enforcement Coordinator to Congressman Lee Zeldin, Belinda Alvarez Groneman is an administrator, executive, and dedicated civic-minded community leader. For over 25 years, she has served on the board for the nonprofit Pronto of Long Island and on the Town of Islip Youth Board. She is the president of the Board of Directors, Eastern Region for the American Cancer Society, trustee for Suffolk County Community College and the college's foundation, board member for Adelante of Suffolk County, as well as an active member of Islip Food for Hope. These are just a few of the numerous organizations she serves, improving the quality of life for our residents. A highly decorated police officer and highly trained investigator, Belinda has also served as president of the Suffolk County Police Department Hispanic Society, as well as vice president of the Suffolk County Women's Police Association. Throughout her career, she has worked closely with constituents on casework issues involving foreign affairs, law enforcement issues, immigration, U.S. postal issues, and women's issues. Her work has had an immeasurable positive impact on this community and communities beyond. Please join me in recognizing Belinda Alvarez Groneman.
It was an incredible resume. I heard you, Councilman. Our next honoree is Joshua Chan. And unfortunately, Councilman Jorge Guadron is not able to be with us this morning. This was his nominee. He's not feeling well. We just got a call a little while ago. But I think it only fitting to recognize Joshua and his efforts working with the councilman. And so we hope that he is not able to be here. I think he's away at school up in Albany. So good luck and congratulations to Joshua, and we hope the councilman feels better. Thank you. Our final honoree was my nominee, who also is away at school. He's at NYU, and it's Alberto Melgar. And at the young age of 19, Alberto has already established himself as a committed, caring, get out of here. Oh, Alberto, come on up. Oh, I'm so excited. Earlier I was at Brentwood High School. They opened up the Business Resource Center in room 209. Yes. And I was talking to the principal, and I told him that you were one of our honorees tonight. I said, but I heard that he's not going to make it. He's at NYU. He said, if I know Alberto, he'll find a way to get there. So he knows you and really spoke so highly of you and working with you. So let me finish telling everybody how wonderful you are. So Alberto was born in Bayshore in 2003 and then sent to live with his father in El Salvador just 4 years later. And at the age of 10, he returned to the United States and attended Brentwood High School, where he worked to overcome the challenges of language barriers and economic setbacks. And work he did. Alberto studied his way up to honor classes, then to AP classes, and recently graduated from Brentwood High School as 6th in the class. And Brentwood High School has a very large graduating class with a full ride to NYU. That is amazing. Congratulations. And studying wasn't the only thing he excelled at as a student. Through initiatives in high school, Alberto organized a supply drive to assist those impacted by the invasion of the Ukraine. He fundraised for over $3,000 for the Brentwood Science Olympiads to ensure the program was not defunded due to budget cuts brought on by the pandemic. He donated over 1,500 blankets with positive messages attached to the Suffolk County Office of Social Services to be distributed to local shelters as part of the Blankets of Hope initiative. Can you imagine how special that is for someone who's in a shelter and they get the blanket and then read an inspiring message? That's beautiful. He also secured over 1,100 signatures from community members that he brought to the town, to me, in support of building the Roberto Clemente skate park. And that was when I first met Alberto and really was taken with him. Really great kid. Most impressively, while dedicating much of his time to the community, he has maintained a part-time job, excelled in his studies, and was involved with several school clubs at the high school. Presently, in his freshman year at NYU, he's majoring in physics and mechanical engineering. We can't wait to see what this remarkable young man does next. So join me in recognizing and congratulating Alberto Melgar. And I'd like to ask, I see that Hassan Ahmed is here from the Brentwood Board of Education. Please, Hassan, come up and join us. So we offer our congratulations to all the honorees of this year's Hispanic Heritage Awards, and a sincere thank you to all you all have done for our community. So thank you very, very much. So again, I welcome everyone to our September Town Board meeting. September, traditionally a time of change. The sun sets a little earlier, the evenings grow a bit colder. Soon, our beautiful green spaces will turn yellow to orange to red as summer wanes and golden autumn takes the stage. For our youth returning from summer break, September is a time of new classes, classmates, and curriculums. Many others will have already embarked on the next chapter in their scholarly careers, studying away at a new college or university, maybe at NYU. But amongst this change, there stands a singular moment unchanged by the passage of time. Though 21 years have gone by, there is a moment in our nation's history and a pledge that remains forever firm in our hearts, the pledge that we will remember, the vow that we will never forget. This past Sunday, the town of Islip joined ceremonies across this great nation with our annual 9/11 memorial ceremony, paying tribute to the thousands of souls who perished during September 11th. Joined by local faith, veteran, police department, fire department officials, local first responders, the families of those lost, and residents of our community, the town board and I recognized and remembered each of the 90 brave men and women from our town who were killed during the attacks. I would like to ask for all to please stand and join me for a moment of silence in the memory of their lives and the legacies they left behind. Thank you. We will remain unwavering in our commitment to never forget. On September 1st, we kicked off Islip Goes Purple. Since 2019, the town has partnered with Youth Enrichment Services, YES, and local hospital and health leaders for the Islip Goes Purple month-long mental health and substance abuse disorder recovery and awareness campaign. We were joined by elected officials on all levels of government, from the federal down to local levels. We held a ceremony on the front steps of Town Hall to stand firm in our commitment to promote recovery and support for all those who struggle with mental health issues and addiction. Thanks to the care and support of Islip community members, business owners, and community partners, the IGP movement has grown throughout Suffolk County and even into Nassau. Earlier this month, Bayport had an evening program for international overdose awareness and a purple tree lighting at the Bayport Blue Point Library that brought the community together. Store windows throughout West Islip are being painted by high school students and members of the community with purple designs, and stores are sporting purple light bulbs and purple bows, flags throughout the town. We're thrilled to be joined in this effort by the towns of Brookhaven, Babylon, Huntington, and the village of Massapequa Park, and we look forward to seeing this initiative continue to expand into additional communities. There's hardly a person among us whose family or friends have not felt the tragic repercussions of substance abuse. Enhanced efforts have saved countless lives, but we still lose a staggering 300 Americans each day to overdose at a rate of 12 people every hour. There's still so much work to do to spread the message that help is available for those who may need it. For more information, including treatment resources, I encourage you to visit islipgoespurple.com. Lastly, we'd like to provide a quick update on the town of Islip state-of-the-art skateboard park at Roberto Clemente. Alberto, you listening? As of today, the skate park is nearly 50% complete, moving very quickly, barring any supply chain issues. So that's the little caveat there. Residents have already expressed their enthusiasm and growing excitement following images of the park's construction seen on our website and social media. So go to our website and you can follow and have a look for yourself at islipny.gov. So thank you to everyone, to all our returning youth. On behalf of the entire town board, we wish you a very happy, safe, and successful school year, and drive safely out there. Watch out for those school buses and the kids. Thank you so much. If you're noticing a brief hiatus here, we're actually waiting for the court reporter, who's supposed to be here at 5:30 promptly. So we're just checking on that. Okay, we will begin by an announcement by the town clerk. Well, does this announcement have to be on there? Okay. Okay, great, thank you. The town clerk has an announcement regarding the 2023 tentative budget. Madam Clerk?
Thank you. Good evening, Madam Supervisor and council members. The tentative budget for 2023 has been filed in the office of the town clerk as provided in New York State Town Law, Section 106, Subdivision 2. I'm subsequently presenting to you the duly filed tentative budget in written form at this scheduled public meeting to this board pursuant to New York State Section 106, Subdivision 3. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now move to the scheduled public hearings for the board's consideration. I'd ask the town clerk to please read the hearing notice.
Today's only hearing has to do with considering the amending the 2022 contract with Community Ambulance Company, Inc. for emergency ambulance services.
Okay, we have that before us. Are there any questions from the board? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
We have a motion, Councilwoman Mullen, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. We will now go on to the regular business to come before the town board. So we will go to the public portion at this time. We have a number of speakers tonight, a couple of various topics. So again, if it's a topic where there are a lot of speakers, if you could combine your comments, that helps. Again, to remind everyone, this is the public portion. We are here to listen to you. It's not a question and answer. You have 3 minutes. There's a timer there. So first speaker, Jim Schlau.
Slough, 415 Cliff Street, Central Islip. Yeah, 52 years at that address. Just want to say, let's see. There was a thing in the paper about the meetings. Town board meetings should be aired in full. I don't know why you don't want Islip Township to know what's going on in the lesser part of your town. And tragedy calls for rental permit data. The people died out east. We got overcrowded houses. I want to give you a few pictures. This house, 350 Clift. A officer just went over there to give them, whatever it is, code enforcement. And it's right back in business again. It's been going on for years. And I think what it is that the town attorney, or the like, has to give them an appearance ticket. And that's what's not being done, and that's not what's being done, and that's why we're seeing this over and over again. And this piece of property here this is a commercial piece of property here that's used. It's not commercial, it's residential, and some of it may be on town property. And this one is going to be separate. Let them look at those. I'll give you this last. Got a minute 33 left. I guess I should pass these to the supervisor first, because I got to discuss these. I hope I have enough time. That's the parking situation on these overcrowded houses here that nothing's being done about for years. And the last picture in the batch that you're going to get as a picture of your block, Ms. Supervisor, and there are no cars parked on the sidewalk, there's no cars parked on the lawn, and there's no violations that I could see. There was one house at the end of the block right near the tracks on Union Boulevard. I think the address was 851. It looked a little Central Islip, Brentwood-ish, with cars with no plates, so maybe it's getting into your neighborhood. Maybe I'm wrong. Or maybe there isn't a violation. But your block is nice, and you got Gabriano's sign on your lawn, and you accuse me of being racist. Gabriano said in his ad that he will deport illegal immigrants under certain circumstances. So don't tell me that I'm racist. I don't care if you come to this country, but come here legally. And our town is a mess. And you know it, and nothing's being done.
Thank you, Mr. Schlau, and thank you for sharing those photos. I will be sure to give them to the commissioner, who will have code enforcement look into it. Thank you. Next speaker, Andy Cross.
Andy Cross, Bay Shore, New York. And once again, I'm here about the NYS real tax law line on my tax bill. When the tax went up 41%, and you said it was because the price of housing went down. The last 3 years, the price of housing has increased at least 40%, at least. It's probably like 75%. And the NYS real property law line on my tax bill has gone up. This year, it's 15.2%. It went up. Where's all that extra tax money going? Now that the price of housing has gone up, there should be no more people doing their taxes. In your State of the Town message, you called for a modest tax increase. Is 15.2 modest? Is the 9% that the garbage district tax went up modest? Mr. Cochran, you voted for this. Mary Kate, you voted for this. You think that's modest? Mr. O'Connor, you voted for this. You think that's modest? And Mr. Guadron, he gets a pass because he didn't vote on it. Supervisor Carpenter, is this what you call modest? In your State of the Union, you said you were steadfast in its commitment to represent all residents in each and every one of our hamlets. I'm here as a resident and taxpayer of Islip and would like to have this issues looked into and reduce the modest tax raises. If you were truthful in your speech, these are not modest raises. Also in your speech, you said you spent $500,000 on park upgrades. What happened to the extra millions that you overbonded the cleanup of Clementi Park for, that my children's children are going to have to pay for? Being that you are editing everyone who speaks out of the video, I would ask that I be granted equal time to show how bad you people are running the town. Can I get that? Can I get that? Are you going to tell me now it's school taxes again when I walk away? Nothing, huh?
Thank you, Mr. Cross. Next speaker, Patricia. Sarah Patricia? Oh, here you are. Patricia Montanino.
In June, I was here and I had spoken. No, I don't have to. In June, this meeting wasn't shown because it was said, and Ms. Carpenter, you made the remark after I had spoken how money was being taken from the taxpayers, and you said Councilman Cochran recuses himself every time there's a conflict or whenever he shouldn't vote. Well, April 2017, Fire Island Ferries, he recused on that. He says, I recuse. Next time it came up, you voted for granting the Fire Island exclusive rights. Mr. Cochran voted for it. Another one came up, extended exclusive rights for the dock-owned facilities. Mr. Cochran voted for it. Another one, August of 14, Fire Island ferries. Mr. Cochran, you made the motion. Item 28, another time, Manny 124 Maple, April of 2017. You recused yourself. You said, I recuse. But then in March of 2017, you voted on it. Then Bayshore Fire Department, you insured the bond for them, for their treasurer. Then Bayshore Fire Department, you recuse. You said, I'm going to recuse. I have a business relation. But then it came up again, Bayshore Fire Department. You made the motion. You voted. And the list just goes on. And you just did it again in front of everybody. Sayville Community Ambulance. You had to recuse yourself, and it's right here. We have 4 in favor, 1 recusal, Mr. Cochran. Well, just right now, they read that the community ambulance for emergency services, and you second the motion. So how can it be said, Ms. Carpenter, that Mr. Cochran recuses himself? He's making millions along with every one of you because you're all involved, okay? You're all involved because you know he shouldn't be voting, but you all approve of it. And my other last issue is when the bonds come out and you say you're buying vehicles. Now, the residents should know that the vehicles are being purchased, but they're being given to vendors. Now here, I foiled for the 2 cars. There were actually
Thank
5
you.
cars.
Thank you, Pat.
They're
Your time is
registered
up.
to vendors. Why?
Thank you.
Okay, I want to know why.
Next speaker, Greg. Greg, is there a Greg? Oh, Greg Pepe.
Before we start, there was 2 articles written, one in the Suffolk News and one by the IslipTown.
Well,
Well, let me just explain something, Ms. Carpenter. You're jeopardizing people's privacy by announcing our names. Because according to statements that are written by the press in here, the reason why you're not televising and making this known is because of the privacy of a person's name and address, okay? So if that's the case, then you should be sequencing the speakers by number, okay? Now, also, we have with us a resident here with a video, an audio video of Councilman O'Connor finding out what the reason is why you're not televising and keeping us censored. And he told on the audio, we have it here, that the reason was that the only reason we come down here, the residents, whether we're from Huntington, Smithtown, the East End, or Islip, is because we just come down here to get ourselves shown on TV. That's what was said on the audio, okay? So we have a serious problem here legally, okay? And as a taxpayer, we're being ignored. How about people who are disabled that can't make these meetings, and the only way they see it is on public TV, Channel 18, which we pay for, okay? They don't have that option anymore, right? My mom's elderly and disabled. She watches. She likes to see the public portion of these people from other towns with issues, major issues that you fail to address. Our issues you fail to address, okay? So I think this has to be even brought to a federal level and let a federal judge decide, just like he did on the districts, because this is censorship, all right? When we have one gutsy councilman who stuck his neck out and got me the truth, because I was here in July posing you the same question, why are you censoring these meetings, okay? And two publications, the Suffolk News and the Islip Bulletin, made an article and also an editorial follow-up on this subject. So this is serious stuff here, and I think you should, I think the council, I'm going to ask the council, should make a motion to eliminate this and bring back the televised portions of these meetings. Because we have a voice and we should be heard, whether you like it or not, or how you feel differently about it. Because there's a lot of issues I may agree with you on. There's some that I totally disagree with you on. But I wouldn't eliminate you from speaking publicly on TV or being seen for a lousy 3 minutes to show our concerns or whatever we have, you know, as far as issues go. All right? So, I mean, this is something I think is a very serious matter. I think you should rectify this decision you made and put us back on public TV. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pepe. Just a point of information, I'd ask the town attorney, is there a legal requirement for town board meetings to be televised?
Well, there is actually no requirement in town law that we even have a public portion.
Okay.
And it's my understanding, well, we do have a public portion, obviously. And it's also my understanding that these meetings are live streamed in their entirety, so that Mr. Pepe's grandmother or mother can watch from her room if she wishes.
Okay. Okay, so, thank you. We're
And
not
it's,
going to,
well,
please.
The meetings are also foilable in their entirety, and I think Ms. Montanino knows that because she has copies of June, July, and August meetings in their entirety with the public portion.
Okay. Thank you very much.
And of course, the minutes are always available. We have a court reporter here tonight taking the minutes.
Thank you. Next speaker, Debbie Kavanaugh.
Good evening, Debbie Kavanaugh. I'm here to talk about the VISTA project and the Central Islip Master Plan. We, as a community, are basically have mixed feelings about the supermarket that the VISTA project wants to put in. Reason why is the setback. The master plan calls for a setback of a certain amount of feet. It calls for a setback on what the sidewalks are supposed to be, what type of trees are supposed to be planted. And the developer has been around in Central Islip since the 2005 master plan was done, and he sat on meetings with us on it because I was in those. He sat in meetings with us when we were developing it in discussion when the town finally formulated the master plan. So my objection to the current VISTA project is that the supermarket portion does not maintain the setback required in the master plan. The corridor of that portion of Central Islip is elegant looking. When you take away the setback and you let them park up to the sidewalk, you're taking away the elegance of that portion of Central Islip and you're turning it into Jericho Turnpike. The community does not want to see that portion of the corridor turn into Jericho Turnpike. That's what all I have to say about the VISTA project. In the meantime, I also want to thank the town board for 3 things. 1, removing the car from Kenmore Street, which was an eyesore with no license plates on it. So we appreciate the town doing that. 2, we'd like to thank the town for all the pavement of the side roads that they have now completed in Central Islip, which is quite a bit. So the community is appreciative of that. And I also want to thank the town for the August 9th resolution on the noise ordinance, because this past 3 weekends, we have used that ordinance quite a bit with the Suffolk County Police Department. So I want to say thank you on those 3 things.
Thank you, Debbie. Next speaker, Larry Halleck.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Larry Halleck. I live on Connecticut Point. I've been writing Ms. Carpenter for about 4.5 months now in regards to trying to get some kind of relief from the garbage company that's now being run at 131 Maple Avenue. I received an initial message from your office saying to contact somebody. I contacted him. He said it's not his job. I was then given Mr. Ballou. He told me it wasn't his job. I was then given Anthony Prudente, who told me that he would, I only have 3 minutes. Anthony Prudente, who then told me that he would get in touch with the fire commissioner. I asked him who the fire commissioner was. He told me he would call me back. He hasn't called me back. I got in touch with him again. He told me he was talking to the fire commissioner again. He then called me back and told me that there's no garbage trucks on that property. I can show you a picture right now as I stand here right now. There's at least 3 garbage trucks. There's at least 3 dumpsters. There's at least 3 dumpster moving garbage trucks. They're running a barge service, and it's not just the town of Islip garbage. These people were kicked out of Patchogue. They're now running their garbage trucks through the town of Islip on the busiest road in the busiest place. Not only that, I wrote a letter to the town attorney's office. I got a call. I returned the call. I haven't received another call back yet in regards to what was being done in regards to the enforcement. It's a business 3 zone, and they're running an industrial business there. I sit in my backyard, and they start at 3:30 in the morning. Then they go at 5:30 in the morning. Then they go at 7:30 in the morning. Then they come back at 9:30 in the morning. They come back at 11:30 in the morning. They come back at 1:30 in the morning. I've written you and I've advised you that my CO2 alarm has gone off in my house 3 times because they're idling the ferries across the canal for me. And when the wind blows my direction, the CO2 from the diesel is coming right into my room. I can't sleep with my windows open anymore. On top of that, they are idling the vehicle, the things. When boats go by, 2 boats have hit my dock so far. Somebody's going to get seriously hurt. In addition to that, I foiled the permits for 131 Maple Avenue. I don't even think they have a permit to run a paid parking lot there. But they're running a paid parking lot there, and my concern is not the parking lot because it's been there a while, and I understand it serves the ferries and I understand it serves the community. But what they're doing now is they're loading and unloading dumpsters in the middle of that parking lot. They're running garbage trucks through that parking lot. I have a video where a kid is walking behind a dumpster as the dumpster is being loaded.
Mr. Halleck, thank you. Your time is up, and I know that the town attorney and public safety have been in communication with you and will continue to do so and do whatever we can.
That's not true.
Thank you.
Nobody has been in touch with me.
Okay, you just said that you got a call, but that's all right. Next speaker, Alicia Frank.
Brightwaters, Hiawatha Drive. Hello, Town Board. It's been a while since I've been here. Okay, so I'm here today in regards to the Town of Islip TNR program. I'm sure, as you're well aware, there's not been a clinic in 6 months. The number of feral cats has now quadrupled in the Town of Islip. I'm a board member and accompanied tonight by the Director of Fixing Felines. We would respectfully like to request a private meeting in the very near future to discuss how we could help assist in conjunction with the clinics that will hopefully start soon in the trailer at the new shelter. You know, we've all been affected by the pandemic in one way or another. The shutdown of other TNR clinics during this time has brought our efforts right back to square one. During this time, Fixing Felines and Farmingdale Dog and Cat Clinic stayed active, sterilizing approximately 2,000 cats. Let us help the community the way that we continually help others. Just so you're well aware, we have Brooklyn ACC and Manhattan coming to Farmingdale for us to spay and neuter their, cats. We just want to help out the town of Islip, and have a private meeting to discuss, what can happen in the very near future because this has been neglected for way too long. Thank you for your time.
Okay. Thank you. I know that the commissioner has been in communication with some people on this subject when I got the first phone call, I guess earlier today. But I just would have to disagree that we've ignored it. We certainly have not. We've done a lot on the TNR program over the last couple of years, and everyone has had to deal with supply chain issues, staffing issues, And I know that the commissioner has been very, very diligent and did speak to me about this additional offer of help and is going to work with you. So thanks for coming down. Barbara Keurig.
Barbara Keurig. As some of you know, I have been actively involved in cat rescue in the town of Islip for 25 years. I advocated for and am a regular volunteer at the town's trap neuter return clinics. And I've also taught 3 trapping classes for the town of Islip at the East Islip Public Library. I'm here today also to discuss the trap neuter return situation. I totally support the clinic model and the program we have. However, it's definitely not meeting the needs of the community right now. But as far back as 2017, I advocated for a voucher program. So the current situation, the feral cats, it's snowballed. The residents are suffering. The rescuers are suffering. I like a voucher program in addition to the clinic model, but and the reasons for the voucher program are too numerous for me to state here, so you're all getting emails to delineate why I feel that, the voucher program is important. I'll describe it in a minute. But the biggest reason we need a voucher program is because pregnant cats don't wait for the clinic. They deliver between the clinics. And that is a big problem. We need to trap these pregnant females early in their pregnancies, or better yet, even before they get pregnant. That's ideal. I recall a lady who called the town of Islip TNR program and said she had 12 cats and she needed spots for the clinic. It was right around the corner from me, so I was the assigned trapper from the town. I was trapping for the town. I worked off your list. By the time I got to the lady's house to trap for the clinic, 3 females had delivered, and I was facing 23 cats. It's a losing proposition if we can't get to them in time. For many years, I was involved with the Village of Islandia's voucher program. I spoke about it years ago. So there, the residents obtained vouchers from the village hall. The vouchers were valid at certain vets for certain predetermined prices for spay and neuters and vaccines. The residents then called me, asked me to trap their cats, and would meet me at the vet. I bring the cat, they bring the voucher. The village paid the vets directly, and it worked out. It was a low cost, that worked. They also rented a mobile van that they brought onto the village, property, and they offered their own residents low-cost spay and neuter. That was in 2013. I have all the literature, all the information. I will also send that to you. There's so many good models and programs out there. So, like Alicia, I am just asking Supervisor Carpenter and the board members to meet with me and other rescuers to discuss what is being done in other municipalities and with the private, rescue groups, because the town and the rescues have to work together. That's the critical thing. If we're going to be successful in tackling this problem, and I think we need to do more, do better, and together. Okay.
Thanks, Barbara. Thank you. Catherine Citrano.
Good evening. When I knew I would be speaking, I took some time and looked up the bios and all of you on the website, and so I'd like to just share a little bit of my own. I grew up in SmithTown, and I went on to Duke University on an athletic scholarship, and shortly after that, I received my master's in deaf education at Adelphi University. I spent the first 10 years of my teaching career working with hearing impaired individuals, and the last 20 at Massapequa High School, teaching psychology and U.S. history. I have been a resident of the town of Islip since 2000 and have been a rescuer in this community since 2013. I appreciate your time today. Before I was a rescuer, I had no idea about the feral cat problem. However, once I became a rescuer, I was shocked at how blind I had been. I now know that feral cats are everywhere throughout the town of Islip. I base this on the number of calls I receive and the amount of trapping that I do. I am asking for the town's help to address the feral cat problem. I'm asking for your participation in meetings with rescuers who have ideas on how to incorporate trap neuter release services for your constituency. It sounds like that's starting to happen, which is really encouraging. I'm asking you to enact a more comprehensive TNR program in the town of Islip. The current Town of Islip Animal Lovers League TNR program is insufficient to deal with the scope of the problem. Since the beginning of September, I have already fielded 5 calls for help with TNR. The number of cats that need spay or neuter, based on the people that have requested help, already totals 20 to 25 cats. And I just received another call today for at least 4 cats. When the clinics were running once a month, we did on average about 25 cats at the clinic. That clearly doesn't meet the demand. I am not here to talk about rescuers, but suffice it to say that independent rescuers and 501c3 organizations are dealing with the financial and labor burdens of trying to control the feral cat population. And believe me, it's a great personal cost and effort. Most often people tell you that these cats are not their cats, and they are either unwilling or unable to pay for spay, neuter, or TNR. On some level, I understand it, as I have never paid to fix the street in front of my home. I don't own it. I rely on government entities to take care of the roads. I feel strongly that if the problem is not addressed, our municipal government, the problem is going to grow exponentially, and it already has. This is not a liberal or conservative issue, nor does it favor cat lovers over cat haters. One female cat can be impregnated 5 times a year, and on average, their litter is around 4 kittens. So if we do the math, we can already see that they're prolific in the way that they reproduce. As I see it, an uncontrolled, unfixed population is a quality of life issue for everyone that has cats in their yard. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Catherine. John D. Leonardo.
Hi. So I heard that an injunction was filed to shut down sloth encounters, a permanent injunction as well as a temporary restraining order. I haven't heard that myself, so I was just hoping I could hear that from you guys here today.
Okay. Yes, that is the fact. Town Attorney, do you want to brief them on what the status is?
Today we filed a summons and complaint for a permanent injunction in Suffolk County Supreme Court against the property owner and tenant of 551 Betts Highway.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We do listen.
Yeah, so thank you. Oh, and I know, I appreciate it. I know you guys have been working hard on it. So all I got to say is
we
thank
have
you
not
right now.
filed the TRO yet, but we should be doing that tomorrow.
Okay, so what does that mean? When should we expect them to be officially shut down?
Well, it's all up to the judge.
It's up to the courts.
Okay.
We're doing our
The
part.
permanent injunction is, it's a much longer proceeding. The temporary restraining order is a quicker proceeding, and we would know probably within a week or so.
Okay.
If
All right,
it's if it's granted.
Thank you. All right, the only other thing I'd like to add is I see that Sloth Encounters has a representative here today, Ashley Herkimer. I don't know what she has to say, but I just wanted to let you guys know that at the last rally we had a month ago, she was pretending to be a protester and representing herself to the press as a fictitious person named Erin Johnson. She's also reached out to me and told me about bites at Sloth Encounters. So I don't know what game she's playing or what she plans to say today, but I thought you guys should know that for some.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next speaker, Juliana. Juliana, are you coming up or not? I guess you're satisfied. All right, next speaker. Yeah, isn't that what you wrote here? Is that you? Giuliano De Leonardo.
I was just going to say thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. It doesn't happen too often here. And we appreciate it. Janine Spada.
Just again here with Humane Long Island. Thank you again, John, for representing. Just wanted to say thank you for everything that you've done and allowing me to speak. We want to just have animals be in a safe environment, a healthy environment, a natural environment. And if someone cannot provide that, then we would like them not to be allowed to open up shop in their hometown. So thank you very much for everything you've done. And we hope to see progress on this in the very near future.
Thank you. Next speaker, Anthony Farina.
I'm here tonight to support the residents who showed up tonight to ask for the town of Islip to step up their program for TNR. I'll give you a personal note. Working with Catherine and her New Hope Rescue, last fall, we helped trap 6 cats. I paid the $1,000 out of our own pocket because in our community in Park Row, there's a very large feral cat population, and we thought it was important for not only for our community, but for the cats to not continue to populate our community. So I really would like the town of Islip to step up the program. I know you're going to be talking to some vendors and some other organizations that do cat neutering, but I really would like the town of Islip to recognize how important this issue is and a quality of life for not only the cat population, but for the residents who see these cats and feel for them, but can't do very much about it. I did call your office the other day, and thank you very much. You had a very nice gentleman, Marty Ballou, I think, call me today and explain a couple of things. And I do very much appreciate the response. Thank you very much. But there's one issue that I'd like to bring to the town's attention. He mentioned to me that it is his understanding that town of Islip cannot use public funding to support a TNR program. But I did some research, and I think other people tonight did some research. I believe there was a state legislator law passed in, I think, 2000 or 2001 that says that state municipalities can use public funding for cat neutering and other animal support rescue issues. So if you can look into that, because if it's an issue of you don't have enough money to support it, we can appreciate that. But if you have the ability to use some funding and you can find the money in the budget to support it, we sincerely appreciate that process.
All right.
Thank you very much for your
Thank you, Anthony. We certainly will look into it. Vinette Bennett.
Thank you. Hello, this is a quality of life issue. I live in Bayshore, 256 North 3rd Avenue, and a couple of weeks ago I noticed a sneaker was thrown over one of the lines right next to my house. And when I spoke to some of my friends, they told me it could be drug dealings or whatever. I didn't know. Anyway, I called the precinct, I called the town, and I called Verizon, which owns the line, and he stated that there's nothing they can do about it, that they don't bring their trucks out to take care of it, and I would like to have it removed, and I don't know what else to do.
Okay, we'll look into whether or not there is anything we can do, and if so, we will. Thanks for coming down. Next speaker, Thomas Wilson.
Good afternoon, board. This is my first time here. We need any information. I want to talk about what John talked about to the county attorney. If the injunction is shot down, do we have a plan B? What is it? You can answer now. You don't have to.
Temporary restraining order is shot down. We still have the option for the permanent injunction.
Okay, and I also want to ask the town attorney, is Connect Quad under our jurisdiction? Of course, we've seen with the bus and with the school district, with the misinformation, with the little kid who didn't know it was his bus. Is there something we can do to try and avoid a situation like that to happen?
All right, we don't have any jurisdiction over the schools. That would be the State Education Department.
And that's it.
Okay, thank you for coming down. Judy Fisher.
Good evening. I know that next week there is a planning meeting regarding development of looking to develop for benchmark for assisted living in East Islip, and I will be through next week too. But I just wanted to express my concern and some of my neighbors' concerns about the overdevelopment that's happening in our town. Recently, there was just approved senior cottages, 25 additional senior cottages, the old site of Sagristano's Landscaping. And now they're looking to change the zoning to approve a 90-unit assisted living facility, tripling the building points of the building availability of the lots. And we're just very concerned about what's happening to our town with the constant overdevelopment. And I'll be there next week, but I'm really hoping that the town board considers that the quality of life of these hamlets we live in is really eroding quite quickly. Traffic, the congestion. I believe the emergency departments have all been on record saying they will not be able to service another 90-unit facility. We already have 14 assisted living facilities in the town of Islip within the Bayshore Islip area. I don't know that there's need for yet another one. And we're just turning our town into a congested mess. The traffic in East Islip is a nightmare, and it's just going to increase it exponentially. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy, and you're very right to go to the planning board next week because that is the beginning of the process.
Yes,
Thank you. Ashley Herkimer.
Hi, y'all. All right, so my name is Ashley Herkimer, and I am here on behalf of Sloth Encounters. First and foremost, I want to say thank you for all being here tonight and giving the chance for the town and the community to speak. I know it's been a long night, so I'll make it quick. There has been a lot of controversy about Sloth Encounters in the news. We know everyone across the island has mixed opinions about us, and we're not in the business of changing anyone's opinions or changing anyone's minds. That's not what we're doing. We're in the business of education. We want to educate the community and people all over the world who come to our encounter to come up close with these amazing and beautiful animals. People from all different states and countries that are coming here on vacation. They are spending money in restaurants, gas stations, hotels, gift shops, people that are putting money back into this community and into things that are more important than this. Whenever something negative about us comes out on the news, it hurts us as a small business and as individuals. We try and look at the bright side and use this as a chance to educate the world about why we do what we do, and that's really the most important thing to us. A lot of time, money, and resources are put into this business, and a lot of people that dedicate their time, like me, to learn and care for these animals correctly. A lot goes into this growing business, and it is not defined by one person. I invite each and every single one of you, and I'm making eye contact with every single one of you, to come down and form your own opinion. Instead of reading false things that one man spreads on Facebook or watching the news that only shares half the story. If you do visit us and you don't believe in what we do, then there's nothing more we can say. We'll leave that in your hands. But don't deprive yourself from only getting half the story, because that hurts us. We want you to educate yourself on both sides of the story before you all prosecute, bully, and harass individuals involved and the small business. I also think it's inappropriate for a grown man to be bullying kids and students like me who are only trying to educate the world and do something that is right. Again, like I said, if you come in and you still believe what you believe, and that's completely okay. We can't fault you on that, but we really do want you guys to come in, learn about what we do and everybody who is involved. It would mean the world to us. And again, if you still aren't a fan and you still want to move ahead, then that's your prerogative. Really, for us, it's about education. I mean, we have people literally from all over the world. Someone from Israel is coming to propose to his girlfriend. All over the world, and coming to our community to put money back into your pockets. So it's very important to us. And especially, Angie, we want to invite you to come in. Like I said, if you still believe in whatever you believe in, everybody in here, too, that is, against Sloth Encounters, a lot of people who signed the petition that have never been in here, we still invite you to come in and really form your own opinions. I think it's insensitive of people to only get half of the story and then rely on that, especially if one person is just continuously spreading false rumors and accusations about us. So thank you guys again for letting...
Thank you, Ashley. Next speaker, Heidi Cohen.
Yes, good evening. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. Just as the other members who have been here tonight representing UMaine Long Island, what I'm going to say changed a little bit because I want to thank you. So I know you don't get a lot of them, so I'm glad you're getting a few of them tonight for filing that injunction as well as the restraining order, and I hope that this does follow through and that we're able to see the Sloth Encounters closed. I'm also representing parents. I am the mother of a 10-year-old child, and the way that I've raised him is that in this day and age, in 2022, there should be no reason we should be appalled at ourselves to think that a way to entertain ourselves will cause another being to, their welfare is now, affected. We're taking them out of their natural environment. We're justifying it by saying money and revenue is coming into the community. There's many ways to bring revenue into the communities without it being at the expense of another sentient being. These animals are not native to this region. The climate is not right for them. They're enclosed with plastic as opposed to real trees. And my son and I know that this is not the way that we entertain ourselves. We can interact with nature and with wildlife by going to sanctuaries, legitimate centers where they rehabilitate animals and release them back in the wild if they're able to. We could go to natural parks. There's many other things we can do to learn about wildlife without causing them distress, taking them from the wild, ripping up families. So, of course, these businesses are always going to sugarcoat themselves and make themselves sound like they're doing this for the benefit of the animals, but we know really all they care about is profits. And if you care about animals, you don't exploit them to entertain yourself. So thank you for the decision that you did make, and I hope that we're able to see this go through, and also any similar types of exhibits that come through in the past that are, exploiting animals or any other individuals. I hope that you'll make the same decision you made with this. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. That is for our speakers. I'll entertain a motion to close the public portion. Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor or opposed, the public portion is closed. We will move to the agenda. First item on the agenda is the meeting of the Town of Islip Industrial Development Agency. I'll call for a motion for the meeting to convene. Motion by Councilman Mullen, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor or opposed, the meeting is convened. A quorum being present. Mr. Walzer.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the agency board. John Walzer, Executive Director, 40 Nassau Avenue, Islip, New York. I have several items for your consideration today. First being the approval of the minutes of our last board meeting on August 9th of this year.
We have a motion. We have a second. Motion and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Minutes are approved.
Thank you. The next item for your consideration is an inducement resolution between the agency and Vets Holbrook, LLC on the northeast corner of Vets Highway and Grundy Avenue in Holbrook. This project involves the construction of a 108,000 square foot industrial warehouse on 8.2 acres of vacant land. It represents a $24 million capital investment and the creation of 30 new jobs.
Any questions? Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilwoman Mullen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved.
Okay, the next item for your consideration is an authorizing resolution for a project induced at July's board meeting. This project involves the expansion of Asian cuisine manufacturer Water Lilies Foods at 1724 Fifth Avenue in Bayshore.
Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilwoman Mullen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved.
Okay, the next item for your consideration is a resolution consenting to the sublease at the Allstate Insurance Facility at 898 Vets Highway, Hauppauge, to PKF O'Connor Davies.
Any questions? Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Okay, the next item for your consideration is also a resolution consenting to a sublease. This one is at 555 North Research Place, Central Islip, to Rezion Incorporated.
Questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Mullen, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Next item for consideration is an amended authorizing resolution for V1 ISP2 LLC for an increase in the mortgage amount.
Motion? Motion by Councilwoman Mullen, second. By Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor, opposed, approved.
And the last item for your consideration is also an amended authorizing resolution for V1 ISP3 LLC for an increase in the mortgage amount.
Okay. Motion? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilwoman Mullen. All those in favor, opposed, it is approved. No other business. Yes. Number 7 was a VI ISP2, the first one, on
7 was ISP3.
3, rather. No, 8 was 3. 7 was 2. 8 was 3. It's on the agenda.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay. So
Motion
that
adjourn?
7 and, right. Motion by Councilman O'Connor to adjourn, second. By Councilman Cochran. All those in favor, opposed, the IDA is adjourned. Next, we move to item 2, meeting with the Town of Islip Resource Recovery Agency. Marty Ballou, we have a motion to convene by Councilman O'Connor, second. By Councilwoman Mullen. All those in favor, opposed, we are convened. Quorum being present, you may begin.
Madam Chair, members of the agency board, Martin Ballou, 401 Main Street, Islip, New York. I have several items to discuss tonight. First one being the approval of the minutes for the July 12th, 2022 agency board meeting.
Motion?
Motion.
By Councilman Cochran, second. By Councilman Mullen. All those in favor, opposed, the minutes are approved.
Next item is a resolution authorizing the president to enter into a contract extension with DeVerca and Bartolucci Engineers and Architects, BC, to provide professional and technical services for monitoring, sampling, and reporting of greenhouse gas, landfill gas, and the volatile organic compounds at the Blydenburg Road and Lincoln Avenue landing.
Are there any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second. By Councilman Mullen. All those in favor, opposed, approved.
Next item is a resolution authorizing an amendment to an existing contract with DeVerca and Bartolucci Engineers and Architects, PC, to provide post-closure groundwater sampling, and reporting at the Blydenburg Road landfill to include emerging contaminants in conjunction with the standard revised New York State DEC Part 363 baseline parameter sampling events.
Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Cochran, second. By Councilwoman Mullen. All those in favor, opposed, approved.
Last item is a resolution authorizing an extension and amendment to an existing contract with Cash and Associates, PC, to provide professional engineering services related to groundwater leachate and emerging contaminants, monitoring, sampling, and reporting at the Blydenburg Road landfill, Cleanfill Phase 1 and 2.
Thank you, Marty. Are there any questions? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second. By Councilwoman Mullen. All those in favor, opposed, it is approved. Is there any other business? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Councilman Cochran, second. By Councilwoman Mullen. All those in favor, opposed, the Resource Recovery Agency is adjourned. I'm sorry, you're recording it too, right? Yeah, okay. You have it all. It's right there in front of you. Okay, we're on Resolution 3. Authorization for the supervisor to enter into a contract extension with DeVerca and Bartolucci Engineers and Architects, PC, to provide professional and technical services for monitoring, sampling, and reporting of landfill gas at the Sonia Road landfill. Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Cochran, second. By Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 4, Town Board approval to designate Bobcat of New York as the sole source supplier for parts and service required to maintain operation of Bobcat equipment utilized at DEC sites. Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilwoman Mullen, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 5, authorization for supervisor to enter into a license agreement for one parcel of town-owned Bay Bottom land for the purpose of shellfish cultivation in the Great South Bay. Questions? Hearing none. Motion? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second. By Councilwoman Mullen. All those in favor? We have 3 in favor, 1 recusal. Motion is approved. Item 6, authorization for town clerk to advertise for a public hearing to enact a local law amending Chapter 68 zoning of the Town of Islip Code. I'll make that motion. Do I have a second? Second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Item 7, authorization to clean up and secure certain properties in the Town of Islip. Taryn, if you would go through this with us, please.
Good evening, Madam Supervisor and members of the Town Board of Councilor. Karen Jewell, Assistant Town Attorney, 655 Main Street. Number 1, to clean up the premises located at 0 South Clinton Avenue, Bayshore. On this vacant property, there now exists overgrown vegetation and litter and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premise.
Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Cochran, second. By Councilwoman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 2, to clean up the premises located at 0 South Clinton Avenue, Bayshore. On this vacant property, there now exists overgrown vegetation and litter and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premise.
Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Karen, it's the same address as number 1, reason being they're different tax lots?
Exactly.
Any other questions? Motion? Motion by Councilwoman Mullen, second. By Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 3 has been withdrawn as it is now in compliance. Number 4, to board up the accessory structure located at 10 Miller Avenue, Central Islip. On this vacant and unsecured property, there now exists an unsecured shed, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premise.
Are there any questions? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second. By Councilwoman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 5 has been withdrawn. Number 6 has been withdrawn. Number 7 has been withdrawn. Number 8 has been withdrawn since we now have new owner information. Number 9 has also been withdrawn. Number 10, to board up the pool located at 99 Debbie Lee Lane, Bohemia. On this vacant and unsecured property, there now exists an unsecured in-ground pool, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premise.
Any questions?
I have a question. Taryn, why is this only the pool?
So the actual structure is secured as well as it being maintained. We have been in contact with a soon-to-be owner, but he doesn't quite own it yet, so he's ordering a new pool cover. So someone is working towards it, but it's not done yet, so that's why we have to pass it.
Okay.
I have a question as well. Other than the photos depicting the pool being only maybe a quarter of the way covered and basically, like you say, a hazard, if somebody went in there, they'd fall into it and hurt themselves. Is the rest of the yard secured as our ordinance would require it to be as far as in-ground pools?
There is. There's a 6-foot vinyl fence around. I don't know if there's any alarms on it, but there is a fence surrounding it.
Any other questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Cochran, second. By Councilwoman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 11, to board and clean up the premises located at 100 West 6th Street, Ronkonkoma. On this vacant and unsecured property, there now exists unsecured windows and doors, an unsecured shed, overgrown vegetation, and litter and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premise.
Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilwoman Mullen, second. By Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 12, to clean up the premises located at 164 5th Avenue, Bayshore. On this vacant property, there now exists high grass, overgrown vegetation, an unregistered vehicle, and litter and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premise.
Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 13, to clean up the premises located at 170 West Bayberry Road, Islip. On this vacant property, there now exists high grass, an unregistered trailer, and overgrown vegetation, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premise.
Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilwoman Mullen, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 14 has been withdrawn. Number 15, to clean up the premises located at 190 Audwin Drive, Islip Terrace. On this vacant property, there now exists overgrown vegetation, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premise.
Any questions? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second. By Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 16 has been withdrawn. Number 17 has been withdrawn. Number 18, to clean up the premises located at 250 Springdale Drive, Ronkonkoma. On this vacant property, there now exists high grass, overgrown vegetation, and litter and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with the property interest in this premise.
Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Mullen, second. By Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 19 has been withdrawn. Number 20, to board and clean up the premises located at 492 Jones Street, Ronkonkoma. On this vacant and unsecured property, there now exists unsecured windows and doors, an unsecured shed, an unregistered vehicle, overgrown vegetation, and litter and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premise.
Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Mullen, second. By Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 21, to clean up the premises located at 579 Veterans Memorial Highway, Hauppauge. On this vacant property, there now exists overgrown vegetation, unregistered vehicles, and litter and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premise.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second. By Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 22, to board and clean up the premises located at 763 Montauk Highway, West Islip. This vacant and unsecured property, there now exists unsecured windows and doors, high grass, overgrown vegetation, and litter and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premise.
Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Cochran, second. By Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 23, to clean up the premises located at 957 Belmore Avenue, Central Islip. On this vacant property, there now exists high grass, overgrown vegetation, and litter and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premise.
Questions? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second. By Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
And the last one, number 24, to clean up the premises located at 1225 Udall Road, Bayshore. On this vacant property, there now exists an unregistered vehicle, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premise.
Any questions?
Quick question, Karen. So the vehicle depicted obviously has New York State issued license plates on it, but the registration's expired?
Yes.
Any other questions? Is there a motion? Motion by Councilman Cochran, second. By Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Thank you very much, Taryn. Quite an aggressive agenda this evening.
Thank you.
Item 8 are the bid awards. Are there any questions? Hearing none. Motion? Motion by Councilman Mullen, second. By Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 9 are the option year resolutions. Are there any questions? Hearing none. Motion? Motion by Councilman Mullen, second. By Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 10, appropriation transfers. Again, on it, are there any questions? No. Motion by Councilman Cochran, second. By Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 11, Town Board approval to increase the annual OSAP contribution for the Ambulance Corporation volunteers. Are there any questions? Hearing none. Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilwoman Mullen. All those in favor? 3 in favor, 1 recusal. Motion is approved. Item 12, Town Board approval to symbolically name the intersection of Montauk Highway and South Bay Avenue in Islip as Firefighter Jesse Gerhard Way in honor of a local hometown hero. Are there any questions? Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilwoman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Item 11, acceptance of an easement in favor of the town of Islip through and under portions of 163 Amityville Street and Islip Terrace for drainage purposes. Are there any questions? Hearing none. Motion? Motion by Councilwoman Mullen, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 14, acceptance of an easement for property located at 4 and 8 Roslyn Street, Islip Terrace for drainage purposes. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 16, authorization for supervisor to enter into 1-year contract renewal with Lyro Engineers for site plan review for commercial development. I'm sorry, what? 15. All right. Can we finish 16? Okay. For site plan review for commercial development within the town of Islip. Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. And item 15, acceptance of an easement for property located at 0 Vitsanas Court, Bohemia, for drainage purposes. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. We will move then to item 17, authorization for supervisor to enter into 1-year contract extension with SIPCO Boarding Company, Inc. for contract DPD 2-21, board up and secure various properties townwide. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilwoman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 18, authorization for supervisor to enter into 1-year contract with Benson Contracting, Inc. for contract DPD-520, maintain and service wells and pumps at town pools, golf courses, and town facilities. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 19, acceptance of a quitclaim deed from Long Island Partnership Housing Development Fund Company, Inc. for a walkway between subdivision Brookside Muse, 3rd Avenue and East 3rd Avenue in Bayshore. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 20, authorization for supervisor to execute any and all documents to effectuate the assumption of an existing note and mortgage held by the town in connection with the sale of 17 Cortlandt Place, Bayshore. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion? Motion by Councilman Mullen, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 21, authorization of the supervisor to execute the option to renew contract with Intelitech Security Services for the monitoring, maintenance, and installation of alarms. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 22, authorization for supervisor to execute the option to renew the professional services agreement with ASI Flex covering the benefit option year through December 31st, 2023. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 23, amendment to the Town of Islip 2022 capital budget. I would ask our controller to come forward on this. This is for the project at Byron Lake Park, a facility that was built over 50 years ago and has probably had zero attention since. This was a project that has been on the schedule for many, many years. Unfortunately, had to be put in abeyance, and we want to thank the residents of the town for their patience in waiting for this project to finally be started. But we had the situation at Clemente the cleanup that had to be effectuated, the remediation, then the pool that had been closed for so many years. When we went to reopen it, not only was it a fix, it was a total redo of the pool, and everything else that happened since that. Finally, we're on the finishing touches of that park, as we heard earlier about the skateboard park, but now it's time to move to the next project, and that is Byron Lake. We are probably in a very good position, and with everything that's happening with interest rates and everything, it probably is best for us to probably have done this a year or two ago, but we're still in a good position given our AAA bond rating. Joe, do you have anything that you want to add to that?
No. Joseph Ludwig, controller for the town of Islip, 401 Main Street. With all due honesty, Madam Supervisor, you kind of laid it out. I can make the jokes as I normally do. The pool's a little bit older than I am, and while I look like a model of perfect fitness, I am falling apart on the inside. The pool is very much the same way, and what people won't normally see is within the operating budget, the Commissioner of Parks and Recreation spends between $30,000 to $50,000 a year in just blast patching holes within the tub. That's what everybody swims in. So your notation that it has been neglected and kind of ignored since it was constructed is pretty accurate. We've done nothing but patchwork to it, and it's time, long overdue, to get it done. It would have been wonderful to have done this 2 years ago, but that was the COVID year. Nothing was going to happen then. Interest rates are still working with us, not as attractive as they were a couple of years ago, but still better than where they were just prior to it. We're still in that wheelhouse where it makes sense to do the project now.
Thank you. One other thing I just wanted to add, reading the engineer's report, and this is something that Councilman O'Connor is going to be very sensitive to as the chair of our Disability Advisory Board, and the councilman for that particular council district, the ADA compliance isn't there. There are so many areas where it is lacking, and that probably is the first order of business in making it be ADA compliant. And quite frankly, we're very lucky that we have not been cited. So.
Yeah, and again, I don't mean to cut you off, Councilman, but that's always, the problems we face when things are built 50 years ago before ADA became the norm. Now we have to kind of get caught up and make things right.
Right.
So, Joe, thank you, and thank you to our Commissioner of Parks and Recreations and Cultural Affairs, of course, and his team for bringing us to this point. The pool at Roberto Clemente is second to none. It does my heart good, and I know my fellow members good, when we go there for our annual splash party and we see the community there enjoying that facility. And I'm really looking forward to the same thing and the same sort of facility in Oakdale. The residents deserve it. This is exactly what we should be doing as town board members, is giving the benefit of the tax dollar back to the community. I'm really excited to support it, and I thank you and everybody else who has gotten us to this point. Yeah, well said, and I just want to add, again, don't mean to cut off anybody, but I took a site visit a couple weeks ago, and I'll admit I've never really been to Byron Lake. So when you walk in and kind of to the point, water's perfect color. Everything looks beautiful, but when you look behind that facade, and again, I see it because I pay the bills, you realize how much work is actually going in to keep it looking that good. So yes, it is long overdue, and I think it's going to be a beautiful complex once it's all completed.
Thank you. Thank you for all your work on this and your team. It's not easy getting all these documents together. We really do appreciate it. We have, on the amendment, we don't need a roll call vote on the amendment. So I have a motion. Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Cochran, on the amendment to 2022 Town of Islip capital budget. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. And then on the bond resolution, we will need a roll call vote. I'll make the motion on the bond resolution for the amendment to 2022 Town of Islip capital budget. Just need that in front of me, and I think that's all I need to put on the record. For the Byron Lake project. Yes, okay, we're covered. So we'll have a roll call on the bond reso.
Supervisor Carpenter?
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mullen? Yes. And Councilman Cochran?
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0. Councilman Quadrone absent.
Thank you very much. And again, to Tom and his team and Joe and your team, we really appreciate all of the effort. Thank you. Okay, that will take us to item 25, authorization for supervisor to enter into a contract with WHM Plumbing and Heating Contractors, Inc. For DPW 3-2022 Byron Lake Pool Reconstruction Plumbing. Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 26, authorization for supervisor to enter into a contract with Intricate Tech Solutions Limited for DPW 3-2022H Byron Lake Pool Reconstruction, and this is for the HVAC, mechanical. Motion? Motion by Councilman Mullins, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 27, authorization for the supervisor to enter into contract with Stalco Construction, Inc. for contract DPW 3-2022G Byron Lake Pool Reconstruction, and this is the general construction. Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 28, authorization for supervisor to enter into a contract with Banner Electric Corp. for DPW 3-2022E Byron Lake Pool Reconstruction Electrical. Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Mullins, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 29, authorization for supervisor to accept funds from PSE&G to compensate the Department of Public Works for the milling and overlay work required for sections of Mississippi Drive and Ridgeway Boulevard, Bayshore, due to work associated with the installation of underground electric. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Okay, item 30, authorization for supervisor to accept funds from National Grid to compensate the Department of Public Works for the milling and overlay work required for Iroquois Drive and Montauk Drive, Bayshore, due to work associated with the Brightwater's gas replacement project. Any questions? Motion?
Second.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 31, acceptance of funds from Suffolk County Water Authority to compensate the Department of Public Works for the milling and overlay work required for Sudam Lane, Bayport. Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Mullins, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 32, authorization for supervisor to execute a second amendment to the professional services agreement with Nelson and Pope for design services for a skateboard park at Roberto Clemente Park. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 33, authorization for supervisor to execute an amendment to the professional service agreement with Nelson and Pope to include additional construction oversight and inspection services in connection with the Roberto Clemente Spray Park. Any questions? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. 34, town board approval of the rates for the rental equipment for machinery or equipment for town for snow and ice removal for the 2022-2023 session. A motion that hopefully we don't use it. Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 35, authorization for the supervisor to execute the fourth option year to the contract with Oxford Airport Technical Services for repair and maintenance on the baggage delivery system at Long Island MacArthur Airport. Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Mullins, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 36, authorization for the supervisor to execute the second option year to the contract with ComNet Software as the sole supplier of hardware and software applications, support services related to the multi-user flight information display system and digital paging systems at Long Island MacArthur Airport. Questions? Hearing none. Motion? By Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 37, authorization for the supervisor to execute a professional services agreement with CNS Companies for construction, administration, and construction inspection services within the main terminal building at Long Island MacArthur Airport. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilwoman Mullen. All those in favor, opposed, approved. Item 38, authorization for supervisor to award an agreement for plumbing services to WHM Plumbing and Heating Contractors, Inc. in connection with the main terminal MEP upgrades at Long Island MacArthur Airport. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor, opposed, it is approved. Item 13, authorization for the supervisor to execute any and all documents required to apply for and accept grant funding from the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York for the renovations of the Brentwood Recreation Center. Was proposed by Assemblyman Ramos, and it is going to be incredible what improvements have been already done and will be completed at the Brentwood Recreation Center. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilwoman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Authorization for the town clerk to advertise for public hearing to consider enacting local law. Is there a number for that? Okay, so it's local law of 2022, amending local law 3, 1998, chapter 48G of the Town of Islip Code, entitled Taxation Exemption for Persons with Disabilities. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor, opposed, approved. Authorization for the town clerk to advertise for a public hearing to consider enacting local law of 2022, amending local law 1025-1966, chapter 48 of the Town of Islip Code, entitled Taxation Partial Exemption for Senior Citizens. You know, it's interesting, I received a phone call on this, a senior very anxious to make sure this passes so that she knows how she can budget because she needs a new refrigerator. So she'll be very happy when we can tell her this is moving along. Motion? Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor, opposed, approved. Item 42, authorization for the town clerk to advertise for public hearing to consider enacting the local law of 2022, amending local law 1025-1966, chapter 48 of the IslipTown Code, entitled Taxation Partial Exemption for Senior Citizens who have an ownership in a co-op. Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Mullen, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor, opposed, approved. Authorization town clerk to advertise for public hearing to consider the reapportionment of the town of Islip council districts. I would just, at this juncture, want to thank the members of the reapportionment committee who convened, I believe, 8 public hearings, one in each of the council districts, with a second go-round. And worked really diligently with consultants, with the map drawers, with everybody involved, and they really did a very fine job, so we thank them for their efforts. 9 total meetings, yeah. All volunteers, I might add, yeah. Okay, I'll make that motion. Do I have a second? Motion and a second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor, opposed, it is approved. Authorization for the supervisor to enter into a short-term lease with Yamaha Finance Corporation USA for an interim fleet of 170 DR2A golf carts. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor, opposed, it is approved. Item 45, authorization for the supervisor to execute a term sheet for extension of the lease agreement for the rinks. Any questions? Just want to thank everyone for all of their efforts on this. I know it was not easy. Do you have any questions? Hearing none. Motion? Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor, opposed, it is approved. Item 46, the designation of Vassar Kaufman Development Company to develop Town of Islip-owned property on Denver Avenue in Bayshore. Do we have any questions? Motion by Councilman Cochran. I'll make that second. All those in favor, opposed, approved. Item 47, special events. Again, just a bevy of wonderful things happening across our town. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion? Motion by Councilman Mullen, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed, approved. And the last item on the agenda, item 48, authorization for the supervisor to execute any and all documentation required, permitting 2 town safety officers to become certified CPR AED instructors through the American Red Cross. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion? Motion by Councilman Mullins, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved.
Before we end, I think we need to go back to the initial public hearing. Just reopen the public hearing. And there were no speakers, but I think we should redo the vote.
On the item,
The community ambulance.
oh, okay.
Okay. So a motion to reopen the hearing.
I make a motion to reopen the public hearing.
So we have a motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Mullen, to reopen that public hearing on community ambulance. And is there any discussion, any questions?
Make a motion that we close the public hearing. I offer the resolution for its adoption.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We have 3 in favor, 1 recusal. The motion is adopted.
Thank you, JR.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that concludes the... we have a motion and a second to adjourn, and I will happily accept and pass that. All in favor? Opposed? We stand adjourned. Thank you very much.